All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto the Most High Power Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim who go out throughout the four corners of the earth to teach this truth in all sincerity. Here it is, we in Babylon, and it's the so-called Thanksgiving. First of all, you're supposed to be giving thanks every day. And second of all, this is a celebration of the mass genocide of the so-called Native Americans, which are actually of the nation of Israel, right? The Most High Power Yahweh, who you ignorantly call God's chosen people. Excuse me. And they're actually from the tribe of Gad, one of the 12 tribes, and 12,000 of them will be delivered. 12,000 men will be delivered and be a part of the 144, as well as possible 1/3. There'll probably be some Gadites in the 1/3 multitude. Well, there will be some Gadites in the 1/3 multitude. Salakia. But just getting into a couple of scriptures. I'm gonna start with why the white man does what he does. The so-called white man is actually a red man who comes from the nation of Edom, who are the descendants of Esau, according to the Holy Bible. Right? That is their true identity. Right? The so-called Caucasian, the cave dweller, the caveman. Right? He's actually a red Hebrew Edomite. Right? So this is Micah 2:2. And they covet fields and take them by violence. Right? Did the so-called Native Americans not take this place by violence? Did they not covet our fields? Right? And the house. Did they not take our house? Meaning the places where we dwelt to lay our heads? And they take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. And how has he oppressed our heritage, right? He is lying to us. He has taken our heritage. Right? He has, we have forgotten who first and foremost, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has taken away our heritage because we weren't, it's like you give your son a gift and he's not doing right by it. You buy him a car, he's not changing the oil, he's not checking for, and doing maintenance, he's not keeping it clean, you're gonna take it away. And that's what happened with us. But he used the so-called white man to do so. And the so-called white man is such a beast, a brute beast, that he went way far beyond what the Most High asked him to do. Right? I'm gonna read it one more time. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses, and they take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. It's like, I'm a little under the weather, but this is exactly what the so-called white man has done, not only to the so-called Native American, but all of Israel. And I have some information here that I'd like to share with you, brothers. Some research that I found in my studies. My demon, my rib, she took a class on this stuff, so all of her notes and things I ended up taking and using because she had some good information that she had found in some of these college books. The Relocation Policy in the 1950s. From dominant mainstream perspective, people argue that the colonial process of assimilating Indians was not genocidal. Right? Let me actually look something up. Right, just north, just in the north, there was more than 10 million so-called Indians or Native Americans here. So-called. Just north, that's just north of Mexico, right? And that's probably a false number. There was way more than that. Just looking at the tribes that were here. This is raw, so I'm just gonna show you this, right? All those tribes dwelt in those lands before the so-called white man, right? Let me read on. But the United Nations Convention of the Prevention of and Punishment of the Crimes of Genocide, 1948, begs to differ, defining genocide as the deliberate destruction of members of a racial, ethnic, or cultural group. During the 50s, families were taken away, so, it didn't just stop after the Indian Removal Act, the Trail of Tears. It didn't stop after that, right? It kept going, right? I want to read this, too, because a lot of people don't know about this. You want to talk about all the African Americans that were hung, which there was a lot, right? But the largest mass hanging in the United States history was actually the Santee Sioux, from the Mankato, Minnesota, in December 16th, 1862. 303 Indian males were set to to be hanged. What brought about the hanging of 38 Sioux Indians? So they ended up hanging. It looks like 38 Sioux in Minnesota. 1862 was the failure again of the U.S. government to honor its treaties with the Indian nations.